Hello, everybody, and welcome to JFK's World, the podcast, episode 002. Super excited this week. As you know, the goal of this podcast is to introduce you to entrepreneurs that I personally know who are doing great things, and this week is no exception. I was lucky enough to sit down with a good friend of mine, Junior Rodriguez. He is the co-founder and co-owner of PRB Contracting Inc. He's a general contractor. He's been in the game for over 10 years. And in this podcast, he answers a lot of my questions around getting to know the ins and outs of the general contracting world, what led him into pursuing that as a career choice, the support of family, our shared love of sports, and kind of everything in between. You can find out more about them on Instagram at PRB Renos. And as always, thank you for following me. If it's on Instagram, it's at JFKsWORLD_podcast. If it's on Facebook, it's the JFK's World group. And if it's on the website, it's www.jfksworld.com. Thank you for watching, listening, however you're absorbing my content. I'd love to hear back from you. Thank you so much for the feedback, and I hope you enjoyed the episode. See you on the other side. Hello, everybody, and welcome to JFK's World podcast, episode 002. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Hopefully you checked out the first one and enjoyed it, and that's why you're back. I am thrilled to have my guest here today. This is somebody that I have known for about 10 years. He is the first person that I told that I was interested in doing a podcast. And I am just super excited to have you here. So my guest today is Junior Rodriguez. He is the co-owner, entrepreneur of PRB Contracting Inc. Junior, thank you. Thank you for being on the show.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me, man. It's a pleasure to be able to be the second episode. And to be part of this amazing project, man. Thank you.
I appreciate it. So, as listeners know, my goal is to interview people that I know personally that are doing amazing, cool things out there, and Junior is no exception. So, how did Junior and I know each other? So, we met about 10 years ago, as mentioned, and it's actually our wives who grew up together, really good friends, best friends. They grew up together, and I was, the boyfriend at the time. And Junior and his wife, Jenny, there was a social gathering, and Erin, my wife, said, okay, you're going to come and meet some of the husbands. And, as the boyfriend, you're like, oh man, how's this going to go? I'm not sure. Cause I'm going to have anything in common. But, yes, the day I met Junior was a day I'll never forget. He has become family. He has become a brother to me. We, play, whether it's basketball, softball, we hang out together. We do a lot together. But yeah, so 10 years in, and I know that we're going to be brothers for life. Junior, anything you can think of about, our time?
For me, it was the love for sport, man. Sports. I've been in sport since I was a kid, and basketball, Jordan fan. Yeah. I remember we played together in a 3-on-3, I believe, long time ago. Right?
Yeah, 3 tournament. That's right.
Yeah, long time ago. So that was kind of like a bonding moment when we play basketball together. That's whoever plays sports knows that sports do that to you. Like that's when you find brothers and sisters.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think we should shout out. Yeah. So my friend Ryan Zamet for putting on that 3-on-3 tournament, and then we got to shout out the Warriors, our basketball team, right? And then we got to shout out. Yeah. We got to. The guys would be upset if we didn't shout them out. And then Leafs too, right? Our softball team that we play with every summer. So shout outs to everyone there. Thanks for tuning in, but let's get into it. So Junior, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about your company and what you do?
So I co-own PRB Contracting Inc. We do residential and commercial renovations. Everything from interior to exterior, flooring, kitchen, bathrooms, stuff. And I've been doing it for about 10 years since I've been here. Yeah,
Awesome.
but renovation in general. Yeah, general contractor.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
So I want to learn more about that. You know that, the theme of my podcast is to find out a little bit more about the person, the entrepreneur, a little bit about their history and what led them to, start their company or go on their adventure that they did, and then kind of where they're at now and where they want to go. So let's go all the way back to the beginning. Why don't you share everyone kind of where your skills and love of work came from, starting with, your childhood.
It's a long one. I'm gonna try to keep it short. I've been around. So basically, I started with my dad. We had an electromechanic shop back in Dominican Republic. When I was 10 years old, my dad used to live in the States. He came back and said that he was gonna put a business for us, and he was done with living abroad. So he came back, and we put this small shop at home. He used to do that before. So since I was 10 years old, I was his right hand, and then we used to fix like water pumps and blenders and all the small appliances in the house and houses and all like electrical skills, right? So I did that since until I was 22. I went to school, university for electrical engineering. Switched it to electronic engineering after. Didn't finish, was very close to, and then but something happened personally, and I had to move to Puerto Rico when I was 21, almost 22 years old.
Okay.
So in Puerto Rico, I did my own thing, work on many things. I work on mechanic, like fixing 18-wheelers. But, I did electrical for a couple of years too, wiring houses, and with a cousin that I was kind of partner. I worked. Oh man, I work in restaurants. That's something. I'm aside from contractor, I'm a very good bartender, and
I will attest to that. Yes.
Yeah.
You make a good drink. You are the life of any party I've been to, and I think that's part your dancing skills and part taste in music as well.
Exactly. So I've been in entertaining industry too, directly and indirectly. So in Puerto Rico, I did that. Did my own thing, and I worked for somebody else in the restaurant business, right? Then I moved to the States, to Massachusetts, 2006, I believe. And over there, I work in a hotel as well as a server, and then bartender too. Then I had a couple of friends there that they were doing their own thing, buying cars in an auction, fixing it and selling it. So I saw an opportunity there, and then I took it. I started with the money I was making as a server. I started buying my own cars and flipping my own cars, right? And I started like I was the first one in the group that started doing like eBay back in 2006, 14 years ago. I was selling my cars on eBay.
That wasn't as popular as it is now, obviously, right?
It wasn't. It was very, very recent. I did my research, and Google wasn't that crisp back in the day, so I couldn't. I had to, find it out the hard way and the good way. But I started selling my own cars and stuff, and then I went on my own doing that. in that process, I met my wife, now Jennifer, who was working in the States, and I started visiting Canada at the end of 2006, 2007.
Okay.
So, long story short, we got married in a year, and then
Love at first sight.
then yeah, just quick. So yeah, I in that process of moving from the States to here, I ended up moving here 2009, and then same thing. 2009, I did my own thing for a bit. I met with somebody that was a contractor here.
Okay.
I started working for him, and I ended up working with him. I think. And then, yeah, so I worked with him for about 2 years, year and a half, 2 years. And then I decided to go on my own.
Nice. So was there, so that decision is what I'm really interested in, right? So it sounds like, you know, you have the skill set of being able to, you know, fix a lot of different things and also customer service. So what was that? Did you have that moment where you were like, I'm going to do this for myself? Like you got to Canada, I'm going to do this for myself, for my family versus working for someone else. What was that moment like? How hard was that decision, or was it easy?
Yeah, I think you know, coming from Dominican, like I said, over there we don't have like the resources we have here to fix stuff. Like if you're here, something breaks, you kind of go and find that part, put it back on, fix it, right? But back home we don't have that luxury most of the time, right? So I was you have to become like a problem solver. And fix stuff with the things that you already have in hand instead of like finding the right part type of thing. So I wanted to say that because it gives you a different sight, like a different view on things, right? Like you have a different skill set than people that somebody that never had to deal with that issue, right? Like when you just have to order the part, put it on, or just make it work, right? So that was the thing that I think that separates me from that person I was working with when I started. And I realized that we were different, right? In a lot of things, right? Not saying that he was doing anything wrong or I was doing something wrong. It's just we were different. The way we wanted to finish our products, the way we wanted to talk to the customer, the way we wanted to present our jobs or our work was different. So I decided to go on my own and be myself and kind of offer myself, not the product, because the product is a million of different contractors out there, right? So we all have our own different things. So I wanted to, you know, show myself pretty much.
Yeah. And I guess so, obviously being, you know, newer to, you know, the area, how did you differentiate yourself? What was that? So 2 parts. How did you differentiate yourself from other contractors? And 2, what was that first, like 6 months to a year like?
It was tough, man.
Yeah.
It was tough. For me, you know what? It was more, I take it very personal when I'm working on somebody's house, right? Like, I see, you know, I have a lot of respect for people's houses and you know, the resources they have to come up with to fix their houses, right? And how they get it. Right. So coming from a country that is not as you know, rich as North America, you kind of see the value on things. You know, that's what my personal experience, right? So what I bring to the table is like I care about people's houses and, you know, what they're spending in their houses and getting them the most out of that. You know, It's just, I always say that you have to look at customers' houses like it's your own type of thing. So I've been like that since I started.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, how did you work to grow your business in the first, few years being on your own?
Yeah, it's tough, man. Like when you start on your own, like the first 10 jobs is just, you buy a tool here, and the second job you buy the second tool, and there's not a lot of profits, and you kind of just getting by. Before and just going back a little bit, before I worked with that guy here as a contractor. I was working. I was painting churches. I was part of the crew, and I got offered a very good hourly rate back in 2009 actually. Very good, even today's is a very good rate, right? But I was gonna be an employee. And then this other guy offered me kind of a partnership, a split partnership, and I picked the split partnership. Why? Because I wanted to learn the business a little bit more, right? It wasn't comparable at that moment, like what I was gonna make or what I was, going in a business without even knowing what you're gonna come up with. It's kind of risky, right? But I've taken risk my whole life, right? So I took that route, but it was tough. The first few years it was tough. Is finding the jobs, understanding the business. That's one thing we don't get taught in school. Nobody teaches us that, how to deal with money, how to deal with business, how they will deal with profits and losses, and and kind of run a job and run a business. Nobody teaches that. We have to learn it, right? Nowadays, you have a lot more resources to find that information.
Yes.
But 10, 15 years ago, it was tough, right? So you got to learn on your own. It's tough the first few years, but yeah, you make it work. You just have to show up every day, grind, and make it happen.
So were you, was it strictly word of mouth? Like, were you just gaining customers through word of mouth, or were you doing any kind of advertising or to grow the business? Or talk to us a little bit about that.
Never done any advertising. So what happened is it's interesting, right? So when I came in, we had the opportunity, me and my wife, to buy a condo in the same condominium that my in-laws were living. I was staying with them. And we bought a condo that was neglected for years or whatever. We bought it at a good price, and we fixed it up 100%. Like, I tore down the whole thing and redid it. At that point, I was working with this guy. I was being a contractor. Right? So we bought our own condo, we fixed it up. And that was kind of the showcase, right? Everybody that walked in, oh, you did this. Oh, I need my kitchen. Oh, you did this. I need my bathroom. And you do floors, and you do this, and you do that. So I got my first few jobs out of our place.
Awesome.
Type thing. And my friends of my wife's friends, gave me the opportunity to work in their places too, right? So I've never done advertising, never done websites, and I'm kind of working on it now. Now that we're expanding, but it was all word of mouth, and people that I worked for, they kept on referring me. Still until today, is my biggest asset as a contractor. Yeah,
that's great. So, being in the contracting world, and you've talked about your passion for people first, right? So, is there something that bugs you when you first show up to, you know, a potential client's, you know, house or you know, commercial spaces, or something that that just bugs you about, you know, the industry that you're in?
Oh, many things. I think that the biggest one is when I walk in it and somebody worked in a house, and I don't see, I see just bad workmanship. So people don't care about the customer. There's two things you care about. Is you got to care about your customer before profit, right? Profit is very important. We're running a business. I'm not saying it's not important. It's part of the equation, right? But you have to take care of your customer. Take care of your customer. Your customer will take care of you, right? So when I walk in places and I see bad workmanship and people and I have to go and tear down what other people did to fix it up again, and you already charged that person a year ago to do a job that is supposed to last 10, 15 years, and in a year or two we already have issues. That bugs me, because that, like I said before, you never know the sacrifices that customer had to do to come up with that budget to give it to you, you come up with that product, you know what I mean? And then they end up at a loss, right? So that bugs me the most, I believe.
Yeah. Would you say, like, percentage wise, as far as, like, you know, jobs that you do, when you look in and kind of find the root of the problem, what kind of, if you had to throw a percentage at what is related to, you know, maybe some people cutting corners or not, you know, just not knowing what to do, versus maybe just some, you know, a kitchen being outdated, what would you say the percentages of jobs that you do where it's actually fixing something that had been done previously? Like, is that, because this is just me being selfish and not knowing much about, you know, your world professionally. I'm just wondering if, like, you know, 8 out of 10 times you're showing up and you're like, man, like, what was that person thinking?
Yeah. Well, it happens a lot. If I would throw a percentage there, I would say 40, 50%. It's probably half and half.
Yeah.
When people are ready to renovate because it's outdated, or need to fix a previous mistake, right? So it happens very often. I think it happens more often than it should. We have to come and fix a leaky bathroom because somebody didn't do a proper waterproofing, or the kitchen doesn't work, or or the floor is lifting, or the tiling is cracking, or it happens more often than it should, right?
Well, I mean, the fact that you're just, like, rhyming off, like, different things just kind of shows that. It's a very common problem we have in the contracting business, and because it's very easy to do that. Believe it or not, the laws don't protect the client. Okay.
It protects the contractor more than it does the client, and I think that's an issue we have. I'm not here to talk bad about any contractor. Like, we do what we do, and I understand when somebody is trying to find and put food on the table, but if putting food on your table is taking somebody's food away, that's a problem, right? I don't like. Right. I believe that the pie is big. We all can take a piece, and we all can be happy, right? So that's the way I look at things.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so you mentioned a little bit earlier in one of your answers around expanding. So, so we're kind of at the point where, you're out on your own. You're your own boss. You're a few years in. You're working hard, late nights, weekends. Business is going well. but I know you, and you are an entrepreneur at heart, and your wheels are always turning. So
Yes.
instead of asking, like, if you've had that, okay, I've made it moment, because I don't think you have, because you're always looking forward to what's next and improve. I want to learn more a bit about, you said expansion. So talk to me a little bit more about expansion and kind of what led you to where you are now.
Yeah. So about a little bit more than 2 years ago, I was getting tired of being in the business for 7, 8 years, doing it on my own. I was a sole proprietorship, right? So it's just you, and you do everything. You do paperwork. You go to the job site. And that at that point you're a craftsman. What you do is just you go and fix stuff, and but you're doing everything, right? So if you want to look at it as a business, every business is formed and by people, right? Well, that's the biggest force when you bring other people in, and they all work in the business and grow with you, right? Nobody does it on his own. When I say, it's like I keep hearing that thing that saying when people say, "Well, I'm self-made." There's no such thing. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, even a family member was right there with you all the time. You know, riding with you, even when you thought you were doing it on your own. So, 2 years ago, I got a phone call from my partner now that I've known for 10 years. It's my wife used to work for his family since she was 15 years old.
Okay.
25 years ago, she knows them. They own a bakery, and I've known Mike since I came in here. Right? He was 20-something years old before, like when I met him as a kid, you know. And then 10 years after, he reached out to me. Not 10 years, and 9 years after, reached out to me, and he was done on the job he was doing. He was tired. I was kind of tired of doing it on my own too. And just out of the blue, he called me, and I'm like, let's talk about it. He has new construction background, so building from scratch, right? And I have renovation background. So he was a supervisor in the company, and he knows. He's very, I would say, a lot more organized than me.
Okay.
In a lot of ways. So he brought in the stuff that I was missing, right? So we put it together. I know things and I do things that he doesn't touch, and he touches things that I've done. So it's like we complement each other, right? So he came in, we talked, and we created a partnership like a month after. I'm very, I take a turn fast, right? I don't, sometimes I don't think much about doing it, and it got me in troubles many times, but it's been okay.
Well, I think it's over your, professional experiences. You've been betting on yourself the whole time. Sorry, Fred Van Vliet, for stealing your term, but you've been betting on yourself, and you're it's led you to where you are now, right? So
exactly, yeah. So I take risks. I'm a risk taker. It took my wife a few years to kind of feel comfortable with it, because I'm a go-getter. So, Mike came in 2 years ago, and we formed a partnership. We make it incorporated, our company, made it incorporated. I had a sole proprietorship before. And, we have two employees, and I don't call them employees, they're part of the team.
Mm-hmm.
We're a team of four, and then we bring subcontractors, and we run 2-3 jobs at the same time, for 4 or 5, depends, right? So, but it's been the best thing I've done. You know what I mean? Bringing somebody in to take half of the weight, and he does his thing at the beginning of the jobs. I go do my things at the end of the job, and it's working. Is working perfect, I would say.
Awesome.
We respect each other. We listen to each other. We know our strengths and our weakness, and we respect that. And it's the best thing I've done in my business. Just being a partner. Yeah.
Excellent. So what do you think? I mean, what do you think now that you're not a sole proprietor? You mentioned you're a partnership. What do you think separates you guys from now together the other contractors that are out there?
I say this to everybody. I talk about entrepreneurship and owning your own business. At the end of the day, your business is you. Is what you represent as a person, right? If you care, Michael too. He does the same thing. Is very similar to me. His parents they own a business. They've been in the service business since he was born, pretty much. So he cares about people. You know what I mean? We care about the product, the final product. We care about communication with the customer. We're not just out there chasing the coin. We're running a business. We want it to be profitable. We want to make good money, but we care about people. You know what I mean? And I think is that one thing that separates us for a lot of the contractors. I'm not gonna say they all they don't care. There are very good amount of very good contractors out there. You know what I mean? And I think a lot more than people think, because people hear the word contractor and it's like, oh, it's a nightmare.
Right.
There are a lot of good contractors out there. It's just one of those 5-10%. They have they do bad to a customer, and then we all pay the price, right? But it's just like I said, is a business. Is you? It's a representation of what you are, and that's what we bring to the table. We just care about people.
Awesome. So switching gears a little bit, you've mentioned about, growing up and the importance of, your father in obviously not only your personal life, but your professional skills as well. You've mentioned a little bit about your wife being supportive. So what does family support mean to you as an entrepreneur?
You know what? I think it's everything. When you have an idea in your mind, right? Like if you're an entrepreneur and you're always thinking, the wheels are always turning. Sometimes you need somebody to tell you, oh, that's a very good idea, go for it. Or, I don't think that might work, right? So the support I've had from my wife, first, right? She's been my rock since I started. Before that, from my family, everything I've said, well, not everything I said, but the move I made and the stuff, they've been very supportive. I believe we don't, as persons, we don't really have to be what society or your family or your parents need you or want you to be, right? So that's a very tough transition. Some people they don't support the family members and say, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. You know what I mean? Or I thought you were gonna be an engineer. I thought you were gonna be this. Like we all different. in a way, right? So we're gonna have that breaking point when we decide, oh, we're gonna go this way.
Right.
As a family member, what you can do is just look at that person, talk to them about it, and support the idea. If it's not an idea that's gonna get them in jail, but so be supportive, and that's very important for us as an entrepreneur.
So, when you talk to your dad now, whether it's, when you go home to visit him or just on the phone, is he giving you like advice professionally? Is he giving you nuggets, or is he just kind of letting you be you?
You know what? My dad taught me a lot of things that I still use. Running a business per se, I don't think he's just, he's been on his own most of his life, right? Run this little shop and it's all him and all that stuff. So the stuff that I had to learn, he's not there. But I'm not saying that he taught me the most important thing, right? Like customer care.
Yes.
Being responsible, being on time. I'm still working on that. I'm a Caribbean guy. Care about people, respect people, respect. That's one thing. I was the face of that little shop for a long time, and I was 12 years old, and I was talking to 40, 50 years old, and negotiating and all that stuff. So respect, how to run a little shop brought me to where I am now, running a business that is up and going and growing every day. So
cool. So how hard you work and how the amount of hours that you continue to put in, I believe it's important to have passions outside of your professional career. So what are some things that you do in your downtime? What are some things that get you, excited?
Sports, man. Sports. I play basketball. We play basketball together a few times. I'm always active. That is stopped now with this year.
Right.
But I'm always in some sort of leagues playing basketball, softball. We play softball together too. Sports. I ride my bike. I have a motorcycle that I ride. That excites me too. I have my own unique hobbies, right? Yeah. Enjoy downtime with your kids. I have 3 kids, a teenager, and 2 little kids. You gotta find time to be with them and to show your face, and making sure they know there's a dad, right? Sure. And then. And enjoy time with them. We have a trailer that we go. We got this summer actually, and downtime. It's just I play my sport. I listen to music, and family time. Me. Every so often there's a big party in my house with 30, 40, 50 people. So I like to be around people.
Well, I think, our passion for sports, we were together watching Bautista's bat flip with the Jays a few years ago. We were watching that game. And then just the whole Raptors journey, obviously, right? There was watching games together or being at home and FaceTiming each other for, when, Kawhi dunked with his left hand on Giannis or when the Raptors won. And so, yeah, I mean, I know how passionate you are.
Years before that, we suffered.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
We got it.
So, but yes, I'm definitely looking forward to whenever we can gather again for the next Rodriguez party. That's for sure. So speaking of living through a global pandemic, I like how I did that, transition to the next question. How it's very real. And I know it's been hard, especially on small businesses, entrepreneurs. So what was it like for you guys come, March, and kind of how have you guys gone through this pandemic?
You know what? Still is. There's a lot of uncertainty out there, right, for businesses. And that this is one thing that one addition I did to my business and my team 2 years ago is hiring a full-time CPA, like an accountant, and that changed my business completely. So I'm saying this because in the middle of the pandemic, Michael is my accountant. He dealt with all the process and all the the support that the government put in place for small businesses like us, right? Mm-hmm. So that's if I would give somebody an advice is get a good accountant if you're in business. But that was the first 2-3 weeks when the lockdown happened. We didn't know what's going to happen. But services, we're still in services and repairs, mm-hmm. and it's still essential, right? So we never kind of stopped working. We stopped working voluntarily for 3 weeks, and then we've been going on since then, right? Things got a little bit difficult. Jobs are taking a little bit longer,
right?
Because before, like the turnaround for if you order a part, for example, if you order an appliances and stuff, it would take 2 weeks before. Now it's taking a month, or it's taking a month and a half. So it's been a snowball of 2-3 days here, 2-3 days here, a week there. So it's taking longer to finish our jobs, but we're doing it. We've been working nonstop. We're booked for the next 3 months. And in the middle of the pandemic, I believe that when you put people in the house for 30 days without being able to go outside, they find things to fix in the house. So we've been getting a lot more calls this year than the year before. Surprisingly. So we've been good in the middle of the pandemic. It's just more difficult, as a contractor to find stuff. In the middle of summer, lumber, for example, wood.
Yes, I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, the states are a big part. It's a big part of it, and we have that trade, but everything was closed, right? So you couldn't find lumber anywhere. Pressure treated lumber, we couldn't find it. Stuff like that. You would go to Home Depot and half of the stuff was gone. They didn't know when it was gonna come back. Ordering tile and floors from a supplier would take a month. So stuff like that make things harder. But we've survived, right? We supply an essential service, right? Like services is a service, right?
Right. Excellent. So again, I know you always, you have 100% goal on the task in front of you, but this is one of those instances where I know you're above that 1 or 2%. You're always thinking about the future, thinking about what's next. And that's that entrepreneurial spirit that, I admire in you so much. So what's next? What are you thinking about? Let's answer that for me. What's going on up there? What's going on up here?
Well, I'll mention both. My in the business side, what I want to do with my company. It's just keep growing, grow the team. We're now just 4 of us. In renovation, you don't need a lot of people because
Right.
most of it is subcontractors that you bring in, and then you have your guys that go in and stuff. Depends on the size of the company, obviously. But we wanna grow that, me and Mike, and be a little bit more off the tools and more managing.
Okay.
So that's our 5-year plan. We have a lot of things in place, but the biggest thing is, be off the tools a little bit more and manage more. Be able to take more jobs, because now we're gonna have the team will be a little bit bigger, right? That and as a company, buy our own jobs type thing, buying our own houses and rebuild it, sell it. I've done it a few times before, when I was on my own, but with the partnership now, we're kind of looking forward to do that again. Personal, many plans. Me, I'm always. Me and my wife, we're investing in Dominican Republic. We have a couple of. We own a condo. We're buying another one. We have the first one is on Airbnb. But that's part of the personal income type thing. Kind of building the future for my kids and stuff. And that's that's part of the 10-year plan personal.
Excellent.
That I have.
Excellent.
And it's owning a few of those, and and having some passive income coming in. Yeah.
Excellent.
It's already on its way.
Yes.
It's there.
So, before we wrap up here, I think it's important to recognize that there's people that can learn from the experiences that you've gone through. So, what advice do you have for aspiring entrepreneurs, whether it's in the field of work that you're in, or whether it's just, if it can be applied to anything? Are there a few takeaways that you can share around being an entrepreneur that can help, that next generation?
Yeah, no, I think in general, you have to believe in yourself, right? That's, I would say that's one of the most important things, because if you do, doesn't matter what people say around you, you're gonna keep on going, right? But you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe on what you think you can accomplish. Nowadays, it's so easy to go off tracks, because there's a lot of information, right? Social media, everybody's doing great in social media, so it's kind of, it put pressure on the younger generation of do good, do well, because everybody's good, right? So I think you have to come back and look inside of you and see what you're capable of, what you want, put a plan, think in the future, think 10 years ahead, think 20 years ahead. It's not wrong to do it. Like when I remember, just a funny part, like I remember when I was living in the States, I told my friends, in 20 years, I'll be doing this and that. And somebody asked me, how you're 30 years old, why do you think 20 years ahead, right?
Right.
But you have to, the energy and, if you're a believer, I'm a believer, it'll help you to think that way. See, if you think about something, you have a very good chance that you would do it, right? So trust yourself, trust the process, and be yourself. Don't let anybody tell you what you have to be. We're all different. We're all different in a way. Like I said before, as a contractor, I'm different than the million contractors out there, because it's about the person. It's about you, what you represent. So work on yourself, trust yourself as a young, or it doesn't really matter. For entrepreneurship, it doesn't matter at what age you start. You just have to start.
Right.
You know what I mean? Trust on whatever it is that you're thinking. If it's doable, just do it. If it's not gonna affect, your family, if it's not gonna affect your life, could be affected and changed, but that's okay. Changes are meant to be, right? So don't stay in a comfortable place for too long. That's another thing. And be yourself and trust in yourself.
Awesome. That's great advice. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so where can people find you? Where can people get at you? Whether it's, about, because they need you to fix something, they have ideas about how to improve, their home or their business area, or, to learn more about your story, to learn, what your playlists are for your parties, or where to, how to be the life of the party. Where can people get a hold of you and find out more?
Now we have like Instagram is the biggest point of contact.
Okay.
We have at PRB Renos, in Instagram. You can find us there. You can see what we do. You can see what we've done. You can see what we're working on.
I follow you, and I'm blown away by some of the stuff I see you guys do.
Yeah. That's the only thing. I was we were working on a website at the beginning of the year, and then all this nonsense happened, and we're still working on it. And we've been very busy to even go back at it and finish.
What I like about your Instagram too is that you shout out the subcontractors that you use, like to help them gain exposure as well.
Yes, and some of those contractors have been with me for 10 years. Like my countertop installer been with me since I started this thing. Like some of them is like if they're good, don't change them. I like to show my gratitude when we post and make sure they get their exposure too. And like I say, nowadays it's all about social media and stuff. So we're taking that route. But another thing I want to share is like when you're starting a business, make sure your business is doing what it's supposed to do before you think about advertising, putting pages and websites and all stuff. Just make sure that the business is up and running and selling. That's one thing I would say, right? Because people nowadays is like, oh, I want to put a business, and I gotta go and spend thousands of dollars on advertising and websites and this and that. You gotta be able to sell first and see the profit and loss and all the stuff. And if that makes sense, then you start investing in it. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Anything else that you any last words before I get you out of here, before I let you go?
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me in your special project. I know we talk a lot, and I think you're a very special friend of mine, and you're a brother, and I support you on every idea you have, and this is an amazing one, and it's way overdue. You're a people's person. You have to share that with the rest of the world. Thank you very much to consider me and my company and what we represent to be on your show. And for people out there, just keep going. We're gonna get through this. It's a different year. It's a tough year. We adapt. We look at the situation, and we adapt and keep going. Life has to keep going. Not everybody can say that. We all has. I've had personal losses too during this pandemic, and a friend of mine and stuff, and it's tough, right? But we have to adapt and keep going, because that's the only way we're gonna get the engines back on again.
Yes, agreed. Well, like I said off the top, you were the first person I told about this idea that I had. Thank you for being on episode 2. Thank you for helping me bring it to life. And everyone out there, I have seen this man's work professionally. If you need anything, please reach out to him. And Junior, thank you, my friend. I know we'll talk soon. I'll have you on a show later on to get an update from you. But thank you for being with me today. And yeah, I'm excited for what the future holds.
We'll do one post-pandemic. No worries.
There we go. All right. Thank you.
Take it easy, brother.
And there you have it. Episode 002 is in the books. Once again, I can't thank Junior Rodriguez enough for being my guest this week. He is a dear friend of mine. He's been a supporter of mine in this endeavor that I'm on to bring you, the viewer, infotainment, whether you want to become an entrepreneur, you are an entrepreneur, or you just want to learn a little bit more about the people that I know. Thank you again for watching. I got a lot of interviews lined up. I'm super excited about the response that I've had from my community around wanting to be a part of this. So more episodes to come. But Junior, thank you so much. Once again, if you want to reach out to Junior and PRB Contracting Inc., you can find them on Instagram at PRB Renos. And as always, you can find out what's going on with JFK's World at jfksworld.com, on Instagram, JFKsWorld_podcast, and on Facebook, JFK's World, the group. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. This is JFK. Thank you for being a part of my world, and thank you for letting me be a part of yours.